Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be going over the videos that I did in Tennessee. For a lot of you out there, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to show you guys a little bit about my trip. I've actually gone to Tennessee for several years now. One of my friends, my good friends Mike, which you did see him make a cameo on a couple of my videos. He actually moved to Tennessee back in, May of 2020. He's been there a little bit over 5 years. And I am grateful for the opportunity to have a friend that was able to move to Tennessee from California. He decided to take his family there. He actually bought that home where he lives at a very reasonable price. Unfortunately, I wish I would have invested on a piece of property during that time at Tennessee, because during that time, property prices were still deflated. I remember back at that time, you were able to get lots of land for under $100,000, and you were able to move out of California at a very reasonable price. Nowadays, if you do decide to move to Tennessee, you will be paying a premium for it, because a lot of people, unfortunately, from states like California or other parts of the United States that are very expensive, have decided to make these states their home, and so now everything is inflated. And as you saw some of those videos, people are really selling their homes there in Tennessee for well over, sometimes, you know, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, where homes at that time, back in 2020, you could get a nice big plot of land with a home for, you know, $200,000. So this is the world that we live in at the moment. Unfortunately, I know that prices have come down in a lot of parts of the U.S., but we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. We may have a price decrease, more of a price decrease going forward, or prices might continue to be stabilized in the future, might continue to go up. I have no idea. I am not a fortune teller, but I do know that if you are in the position to buy a property in Tennessee, you do it. I'd rather get out of the California sometime before the whole thing implodes, because you don't know. Every single year, there's always things going on. The U.S., little by little, there's a lot of issues that are happening in different parts of the U.S., especially in states like California and New York. I know that those states have gone through a lot of problems lately. A lot of it has to do because of immigration. A lot of it has to do because of civil unrest. But like I said, I have no idea what will happen 3-4 years from now. Right now, we have an administration that's really trying to do their best. But unfortunately, we live in a world with, it's a melting pot. There's a lot of different people. And so it's very difficult to be able to get everybody on the same page. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, out of that note, I wanted to go over a little bit of my thoughts on just the videos that I did. I did film a lot of content out there. I have been going to Tennessee for several years. I've seen it grow a lot as a state. I've gone to different parts. I've gone to Gatlinburg, which a lot of you did mention on the comments about Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg has grown a lot. There's a place that's actually, it's called Anakeesta. If any of you have been out there and have gone to Anakeesta, it has real nice views. There's a lot of nice places that you can go to Gatlinburg. Very good place to be able to go for a full day to have fun with your family. Also, I've been to other places like Chattanooga, which is, more south going towards Georgia. I've been to parts of close to North Carolina. Last year, I did get a chance to go with JB and Patera from Appalachia's Homestead. We got to go to see the devastation that happened over by Newport, Tennessee, and also got to see a lot of the towns nearby that also were seriously devastated by all the flooding that went on due to the hurricanes. Even today, we're already in July of 2025. We're talking several months after this happened with the hurricanes. We still continue to have a lot of people that are in need, and I feel like a lot of people have moved on. I know that there's a lot of natural disasters. Also, we had wildfires in California that caused a lot of devastation, and there's still a lot of people that are in need. So if you are able to still, give your 2 cents, maybe a couple dollars here and there to these organizations that are helping these people, I highly recommend that you don't forget about these victims, because Like I said, there's still a lot of need out there. There's a lot of Latino culture, a lot of people that have opened up new businesses that have a lot of Mexican food, a lot of food from Latin America and South America. So there's just for anybody out there that wants to try out this food, you have a large variety and a ton of Mexican restaurants. Some of the food that I've eaten in Tennessee, I feel like have transported me back to California or even Mexico, because it's very difficult to find authentic food from your country in places like that. So I'm really glad that you're able to find that type of food and the ingredients. I was able to actually buy a couple things, bring it back to my house. Also, I did have a lot of people mention about purchasing silver at pawn shops to be very careful. And yes, in most cases, it does not make sense for you to go out there and purchase physical gold or silver at pawn shops, because there's a chance that you might get taken advantage of. And I already have a very good idea as to what the spot price would be for silver. And obviously, I have bought silver online as well from places such as SD Bullion or other websites that are very reputable when it comes to buying metal. And I actually got a pretty decent price purchasing silver coins at $38 an ounce, which as of right now, the spot price is higher than what it was when I was in Tennessee last week. So I thought I did pretty well. And also, you want to make sure that you do have the people there authenticate the silver using some of the methods that I've actually linked down below on my videos from Amazon. You can purchase certain things that will help you authenticate the metals that you are buying. If you do decide to buy them from third parties and you're not buying from reputable dealers, you want to make sure that you authenticate your gold or silver because you could get screwed over. There's been instances where people have talked about buying metals from different establishments, and then it's not even the real thing. So just be very wary of that. Like I said, I make sure I do my due diligence if I'm buying from a third party, like a pawn shop or a thrift store. You do have a risk of getting taken advantage of. So, but yeah, like I said, it wasn't a lot. But I did want to support the local businesses, and it's always good to constantly be trying to invest. So I guess that's one of the ways that you're able to save as well. Instead of spending money on unnecessary things, maybe you do want to once in a while store some of that cash on silver and just stash it away. You never know when you might need it. Any emergency could happen, and you have some silver set aside. Maybe you need it for some case in the future. And if you don't use it, then the generations after you will be able to take advantage of using that silver in the future. We did have a situation as well in Tennessee that I also talked about on one of the videos about how people over there, a lot of them, they're very honest. I feel like a lot of the times, like I said, my friend Mike, he actually explained to me the first time that I went to Tennessee several years ago that a lot of people, they don't lock their cars. It's very common for people not to lock their cars at night or not to lock their houses, especially if they're in areas that are more rural. The tendency of someone trying to break into your house is a lot less. I've always lived in California all my life. I've been pretty much a resident of California, and I can tell you that I've been a victim of robberies for many, many years. I've lived in houses that have been prone to being broken into or, breaking into my vehicle. And in Tennessee, the crime rate is a lot less when it comes to breaking into vehicles or cars. So I think that that's another plus for anybody wanting to move into an area like that. And even in today's world, with all the new people moving into Tennessee, I still have seen that tradition has still stayed. Tennessee is still, in my opinion, still a good place for people to move into. But if you do decide to move to Tennessee, you have to leave California behind, or you have to leave any state you come from. You want to leave all that behind, start a new life. Try not to incorporate your ideas, because a lot of people, they come from states like California and they want to incorporate ideas that they brought from California. But unfortunately, Tennessee is a completely different state. It's a different culture. And even though it's still the United States, I still think that you still have to respect the way that state is. And grow accustomed to it. Every time I do go, I always see new things. One of the things that I did see too is that big flag that this place Camping World right next to Buc-ee's in Kodak, Tennessee. They had this really large American flag, and someone did comment on one of the posts about that big American flag, how unfortunately that owner of Camping World is getting fined on a daily basis for not taking it down, which they say it's $50 a day. So the owner is paying $50 a day to have a large American flag waving. So you can see that on my drone video that I actually shot going over Camping World and going over Buc-ee's Kodak. And I think that's very interesting. It's very patriotic for that owner to continue footing the bill. I think eventually he is going to have to face the consequences, whether or not they're going to make him take it down, even after all the fines. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but we'll see. And I actually didn't get a chance to go to Buc-ee's on this trip. The reason why I did not go to the Buc-ee's is because I've been there before. That Buc-ee's was actually one of the, I think it was the largest Buc-ee's that was in the United States at one point. It has well over 100 pumps, gas pumps. But I decided not to go because I've been there before, and I think it's overcrowded. There was really no reason for me to go. I mean, I could have gone. I could have bought some of their beef jerky. Maybe I could have gotten one of their sandwiches. There's a lot of different places I could go instead of Buc-ee's, and to me that's more like one of those tourist traps where all you're getting is just a bunch of cheap Chinese goods. So maybe in another video I'll go into a Buc-ee's, but right now it wasn't really necessary. I thought that the drone flyover was actually better for me. I've never actually seen Buc-ee's from the sky, so I thought it was a good way for me to be able to experience it firsthand and also show you guys what that Buc-ee's looks like. I don't think I've ever seen anyone fly a drone over that Buc-ee's, but it was just very nice to be able to see it up from the sky. I did have a couple comments though that I did want to react to. All these videos, they had a lot of good comments. I had one person here, Sage555N, said that JB had troubles on his trip back home as well as bad weather. So he did mention that there was a lot of traffic standstills, awful hotels, and also that after 2020 and 2021, travel has gotten worse. So anyways, I do have to agree with that. I feel like after 2020 and 2021, travel has gotten worse. I've noticed that the airlines, there's more delays. The hotels, I feel like the amount of money that these hotel owners, the franchises, they haven't really put so much money back into the businesses. I think it's because Airbnb has actually taken a bite out of their business. And so it's made it more difficult for a lot of these establishments to be able to reinvest resources. I've noticed, I know last year when we took a trip, we had a difficult time finding good places to stay at. Luckily, the places we stayed at were decent. They weren't roach motels. I know that JB, the places that he stayed at as he was traveling to Alabama this past week, I know he had some issues with some of these places. Some of these places look really bad. I don't think I would even put a worst enemy in some of these places, but I guess he had no choice. You know, maybe this is all he had available at the moment, so he had to take it or leave it. So they are getting very expensive as well. I think he mentioned in one place he had to spend close to $200 for a roach motel. And yeah, some of these places, like I said, they're just horrible. I had that flight delay coming back to California, and I think the reason why that flight delay happened was probably the real bad weather that was going on in Texas, because you got to remember that the flight from Tennessee to Dallas-Fort Worth was the flight that was delayed. It wasn't the second leg going from Dallas-Fort Worth to Palm Springs that was delayed. So it more than likely it was that little piece of the United States that was going through real bad weather that caused that flight to be delayed, because that not only affected me, it affected everybody on that flight. So those are things that we have to live with. You know, as life goes on, we run into situations where bad weather could really mess up our trips. Another comment that I did have here was someone by Sally IM4427. She had mentioned that it was real nice of me to offer to pay for a stranger's meal. So she does say that unfortunately we live in a world that's very skeptical about people's motives and that they have too much pride. And I do have to agree with that. Once in a while, it's always good to try to pay it forward. If you do have the resources, or if you do have the ability to once in a while pay for a stranger's meal, I think that's great. I try to do that. You know, I had this passenger right next to me in the airplane trying to buy a meal with his credit card, and his credit card would not go through. It kept getting declined. And I was thinking, you know, he's hungry. He's trying to get his food and it's not going through. So I told the flight attendant that I was willing to pay for his meal. I told the guy, don't worry, I got you. And he said, no, don't worry about it. So he did not want to take the help. You know, I was willing to pay for it. I think it was probably going to be like $8, $9 for whatever he was going to get. He refused to accept it. So he had pride. He said, no, I'm not willing to let a stranger pay for my meal. It is what it is. All you can do is offer. And if people deny your help, there's nothing you can do about that. So I just wanted to give someone a helping hand and just rejected it. Another comment I got here was American Airlines sent our bags through 3 different locations, took 2 to 3 days to recover. Always check the tags after they print them out. You know, and the thing is American Airlines, they have a history of messing that up. I know that even flight attendants that check their bags in have their bags misplaced. So that just lets you know that that can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter if you work for the airline. Airlines lately, they've been having a lot of issues. Maybe it's short staffing. I have no idea. All I know is that their service has definitely degraded over the years. And in the past, I have flown American Airlines. I've had delays. There's been some pretty serious delays. This one that I just had coming back 7 hours, that was probably one of the biggest delays I've ever had. But the good thing is nowadays, you know, especially with these airports, they have a lot of nice options for you to be able to pass the time. I know there's some international airports as well. They offer these places, they're little capsules that you can actually rent at the airport now. So you don't actually have to leave to a hotel. You can actually stay at a capsule, and I think it's like $50 a night, and you can sleep in that capsule, and they have lockers. You can even take a shower, and this is all inside the airport, which means that if you do have to stay overnight, you don't have to go to an actual hotel now. You can be at the airport in a capsule, take a shower, and go to your next flight. So a lot of these airports, they're getting very smart. They're cashing in on these things because they know that, you know, delays are becoming a lot more common. Some people just want to be able to rest between flights, and so there you go. Another comment I hear from Beverly Hills 6783 said, I think there needs to be a limit. Only so much space and we will lose our natural beauty. Soon the view will be other homes, not the mountains. Want see the view for the houses? People that aren't local and don't care about us, our town at all. So basically what Beverly Hills is referring to is the fact that there's a lot of construction going on in Tennessee and other parts of the United States, places like Tennessee, where there's a lot of people coming in and they're building a lot of different places, kind of like the townhomes that were being built by the church. That church used to have a very nice view of the mountains. All those houses near the church had a very nice view of the mountains. But unfortunately, that all got blocked off by those homes. And by the time the second stage is built, they're going to have less views. That's what's going on right now. You know, all this beauty is being lost little by little with all the new construction coming in. And there's still a lot of big projects that are actually going to be built that are going to be affecting the natural beauty of certain areas. So I guess that's just part of life. You know, you get more people coming in, and little by little, look at what happened with that Buc-ee's in Kodak. That used to be a hill. They had to do a lot of work to be able to get that Buc-ee's in there. So unfortunately, we're losing a lot of green space. And it's all because of progress, because of human progress trying to build new places for people. I got another comment here. Justin Allport 9789 said, go to the world's largest knife store, same town, and it was overwhelming. Actually, I did visit Knife Works. He actually made a very good point. I did go. It was a great place. Unfortunately, after I started filming the outside of it, I thought about it and I decided not to actually film inside the store because there's a lot of security inside, and not only that, but they have a lot of knives. They have a lot of weapons. And so I didn't want to get in a situation where I would get confronted by someone for filming all of these knives inside that store. So I decided not to film anything. There's a lot of things in there that you can film, that is just, they have a lot of different things that you can actually buy in there that are not knives. But I just decided not to film in there. So, but it is a nice place. If you ever get a chance to go into that area, Sevierville, Kodak, Tennessee, I highly suggest for you to go into Knife Works. It is a little pricey on certain things, but I still think that you can get a pretty good deal on a knife. Just make sure that if you do take it back to your home state, that you can take it in safely, because some of these knives that are sold at Knife Works, they're actually illegal to carry around in California or in other states. So just be very wary of that. Joe K. Chicago 13 posted, if you want to experience a strong and authentic presence of Latino culture, you have to visit Chicago. So I have to agree with him. I think that I've heard of a lot of people talk real good things about Chicago. I have actually never been to Chicago. I would want to go there one day. I don't know when. I did have an opportunity to go to Chicago several years ago. I did not go. When time calls, I will go out there, and hopefully I'll be able to shoot some good content when I am in Chicago. So yeah, I think that that's great. I mean, it doesn't hurt to go at least once and to be able to experience the Latino culture they have. And I'm pretty sure they have very good food. I've heard very good things about their pizza. I know they have a deep dish pizza, and I have a lot of clients that have said really good things about Chicago. So I don't know if it would be a good state to live in, but when it comes to travel and tourism, I'm more than willing to at least try it once. So I just wanted to give a little bit of commentary about certain things that I experienced, some comments that I just want to react to you guys. This coming week, hopefully I can get some new content out there for you guys. I've been brainstorming about different ideas, and sometimes it is a little bit overwhelming dealing with shooting videos, which are a lot of fun, but then I want to make sure that I also continue to service the clients that I have right now. Even though it's not tax season, I still continue to get a lot of work. The word of mouth that I have from clients is just continuing getting a lot of referrals. So I just want to continue that I can service all my clients, and at the same time making sure that I continue to shoot good videos that I think will be interesting for you guys and make you guys a better person. Thank you for continuing to view my videos, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't had a chance to, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.